Imagine a cell as a bustling city, surrounded by a high-tech security system, the plasma membrane. This thin, flexible barrier isn't just a border. It's the gateway that decides what enters and leaves, making life possible. Acting with precision, it regulates the flow of essential materials, keeping the internal environment balanced and safe. Every living cell relies on this dynamic structure to maintain homeostasis, just like a city depends on secure gates for order and survival. What gives the plasma membrane its remarkable abilities? Its structure. Picture it as a double-layered wall. This is the phospholipid bilayer. Each layer is studded with proteins like security guards and communication antennas embedded within. These proteins don't just sit there. They signal, transport nutrients, and help cells recognize each other. Together, the bilayer and proteins create a barrier that's both sturdy and smart, perfectly engineered to support the life inside every cell. The plasma membrane isn't static, it's alive with movement. The fluid mosaic model compares it to a vibrant dance floor where phospholipids and proteins glide past each other. This flexibility lets the membrane adjust to new situations, just like a crowd shifting to let someone through. Because of this constant motion, the cell can quickly respond to changes in its environment, ensuring survival in a world full of surprises. Adaptability is the key to life. What determines how fluid or flexible this security system is? Three main factors: lipid composition, temperature, and cholesterol. The mix of saturated and unsaturated fats acts like adjusting oil in machinery. More unsaturated fats mean smoother movement. Temperature works like weather. Heat makes everything move faster. Cold slows it down. Cholesterol? It's the ultimate regulator, preventing both chaos and rigidity. These factors together keep the membrane at just the right balance. Never too stiff, never too loose. Let's break down what shapes membrane fluidity. First, temperature acts like a thermostat. Raising it increases lipid movement, making the membrane more fluid. Next, lipid composition. Saturated fats create tighter packing, while unsaturated fats introduce kinks that loosen things up. Finally, cholesterol serves as a stabilizer. Moderate amounts keep things steady, but too much can make the membrane rigid. Finding the right mix is vital for cellular health and adaptability. How do vital materials cross this gatekeeper? Through passive transport like diffusion. Imagine perfume spreading through a room. Molecules move from crowded spaces to emptier ones, powered by their own natural motion. This process lets small, uncharged molecules such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water pass effortlessly through the semi-permeable membrane. It's simple, yet essential. Without diffusion, cells couldn't breathe or stay hydrated. Osmosis is the cell's way of balancing water. Think of it as water seeking harmony. Water moves from where it's plentiful to where it's needed most, driven by differences in solute concentration. When balance is reached, we call it equilibrium. But until then, osmotic pressure pushes water across the membrane. Whether a solution is hypotonic, isotonic, or hypertonic determines if cells swell, shrink, or stay just right, critical for healthy function in all living things. Tonicity and osmotic pressure shape every cell's destiny. In a hypotonic solution, where solute is lower outside, water rushes in and cells swell up. In an isotonic solution, equal solutes inside and out, cells remain perfectly balanced. Hypertonic solutions pull water out, causing cells to shrink and risk dehydration. This delicate dance of water keeps cells stable or throws them off balance, showing how vital the plasma membrane is for maintaining life's equilibrium. Sometimes, cells need to move materials against the flow, like pushing people through a revolving door against a crowd. That's active transport. Special pumps and carriers use energy, often ATP, to move ions like sodium, potassium, and calcium where they're needed most. This energy investment maintains vital gradients and powers key processes inside the cell. Without active transport, cells couldn't keep their internal environment stable or respond to changing demands. Imagine a high-tech security system, but at the microscopic level. That's facilitated diffusion in action. The plasma membrane is lined with specialized porous channels and carrier proteins, acting like selective gates. Unlike active transport, this process doesn't need any energy, no ATP required. Instead, molecules move along their concentration gradient. But here's the real marvel. These channels are extremely picky, only letting in specific molecules like glucose or amino acids, while keeping unwanted visitors out. It's precision control for the cell's safety. Think of ion channels as the power lines of the cell's security system. These proteins let only certain ions like sodium, potassium, calcium, and chloride cross the membrane, creating an electrical difference called membrane potential. Inside the cell, there's a negative charge compared to outside. This is known as the resting potential, usually around -70 millivolts. Why does this matter? This electrical balance is vital for nerve impulses, muscle contractions, and the cell's internal communication network, keeping everything running smoothly and in sync. Ever wonder how a cell brings things in or sends them out? Enter endocytosis and exocytosis, the cell's import and export strategies. With endocytosis, the membrane folds inward, forms a vesicle, and engulfs materials from outside. It's how cells take in nutrients or signaling molecules. Exocytosis works in reverse. Vesicles formed inside the cell fuse with the membrane to release substances like neurotransmitters or enzymes outside. These dynamic processes keep the cells supplied and able to communicate, crucial for survival and adaptation. Picture the plasma membrane as an exclusive club with strict bouncers. Selective permeability means only certain molecules get through, maintaining perfect balance inside the cell. Size and charge matter. Small, uncharged guests pass easily, while larger or charged ones need special invitations. Facilitated transport uses dedicated gatekeepers, transport proteins to help select molecules in or out. And for water, aquaporins act as VIP doors, ensuring water flows efficiently to keep everything just right. This selectivity is essential for life's delicate equilibrium. Let's break down how molecules move. A concentration gradient is simply a difference in how much of something exists on either side of the membrane. Think of it as pressure pushing molecules from crowded areas to emptier ones. Diffusion and osmosis use this gradient to drive movement without using any cellular energy. Eventually, molecules reach equilibrium. Movement still happens, but there's no net change. These gradients aren't just science trivia. They're fundamental for gas exchange and homeostasis, keeping cells, and you, alive and balanced. In every cell and throughout your body, diffusion and osmosis are hard at work behind the scenes. Diffusion lets oxygen slip into cells and carbon dioxide escape simply by moving from areas of high to low concentration. Osmosis takes charge of water balance. Water moves across membranes to keep cells hydrated and functioning. For example, water absorption in your small intestines relies on these processes. Without diffusion and osmosis, nutrient delivery and waste removal would grind to a halt, disrupting life itself. Osmosis acts like a finely tuned water valve for every cell. By letting water flow through semi-permeable membranes, driven by differences in solute concentration, it helps maintain just the right volume inside. Cells depend on this process to keep their internal environment stable, a state called homeostasis. If water balance tips too far one way or another, cells can shrink or even burst. Specialized proteins like aquaporins ensure water moves efficiently and accurately, proving that even at the smallest scale, precision matters. Tonicity is like the setting on a water balloon. Too much or too little water changes everything. When a cell is placed in different solutions, hypotonic, isotonic, or hypertonic, it can swell up, shrink down, or even burst. That's why understanding tonicity is crucial. It keeps our cells healthy by maintaining proper water balance and pressure. In every tissue and organ system, mastering tonicity ensures that life's most basic building blocks function at their best. At its core, the plasma membrane is a master of balance, a vigilant gatekeeper that keeps cells stable amid constant change. By carefully regulating what enters and exits, it maintains homeostasis so cells can thrive. But it doesn't stop there. The membrane also generates electrical gradients, vital for fast communication between cells, coordinating signals for movement, thought, and response to the environment. It's not just a barrier, it's the command center for cellular health and coordination.